What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and we are back on the mock draft grind here. Coming at you with another 2-round 2020 NFL mock draft. Exactly 1 month away from the 2022 NFL draft as this is being released. So hope you guys are excited for that. There'll be plenty more on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed to catch all of the great content coming out in the next month. So let's really dive right in. We got 2 rounds, and there's been a flurry of trades. Obviously, recently, a lot of teams now have multiple first-round picks. Packers, Chiefs, the most recent to do so. So it's going to be wild, and we really don't know a month out how this is going to shake out. But you know that's what's cool about the draft is you never know what's going to happen. So let's dive right in now to this mock draft here. We're using the NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. And we're going to start things off with the Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, and we got to go Aiden Hutchinson here. And I think what's important to note with this is how much the Jaguars have put into the offensive line in terms of what they've done in free agency. You know, bringing back Cam Robinson on the franchise tag again, getting Brandon Sheriff in there. They feel like they have a good unit there on the offensive line, which I think leads them to taking what many believe to be the safest floor top edge rusher in the class in Aiden Hutchinson, who is probably going to bring you a guy who's consistently in that 8 to 10 sack range. Just a technician, plays with a hot motor, has good pass rush moves. He can affect all 3 downs. Maybe not, doesn't have the best length really, but can affect the game and be a great bookend rusher with Josh Allen. So I think the Jaguars get off really good start there with Hutchinson to boost their defense. Lions. This is where it gets nuts because obviously the Lions want Hutchinson, right? So is it Malik Willis? Maybe. I think it's smoke. I think they want somebody to move up so they can get back more picks. We're going to go Kyle Hamilton here for these guys. Kyle Hamilton is a unicorn. He really is. I don't care about the mid to low 4.5s in combine and testing workouts. Don't care. Guy's got recognition skills off the charts. 6'4", 220 type player. I think he's like 218, but like just a guy who can move everywhere. Play him in the box. Play him single high. Play him too high. He's got the range, ball skills. Like I said, he tackles well in the open field. He just does it all for the position, and that defense needs to get better. I like the idea of going safety here if they don't like, you know, Kayvon Thibodeaux and other guys at the top of the draft on the edge, and they like a guy in Hamilton who I think is the top player in this draft. Houston Texans up at 3. Now they have 2 firsts as well. We're going to go a little bit off the rails here, and I know Thibodeaux makes a ton of sense. I just think it's true what the NFL and what people are hearing that he's going to fall. And so we're going to go Travon Walker here. The testing was off the charts for a 6'5", 272-pound player. Just, again, with all that athletic upside. No, he played a lot of 4-eye, a lot of run defense in that Georgia defense, and that's what he was asked to do, and that's fine. Like, he was great at that. But he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism, he's got the power to really unlock that pass rushing profile, and I think this is somebody that Caserio and Lovie Smith, they're both going to like this pick. And again, rumors are going top 5, top 7. So this fits in with that rumor. I think the Texans take Travon Walker there. Jets. Thibodeaux is possible here. It's possible. I'm going to still lean Ike Ekwonu here just because everything we've kind of heard from the Jets and Connor Rogers, obviously at Stock Exchange and Bleacher Report, has talked a lot about what he's hearing from the Jets. Ekwonu sounds like the guy, and it's very possible that this pick sets off the ripple effect that, okay, Mekhi Becton's going to be traded somewhere. Don't know where. Could end up netting them a day 2 pick. We'll see, but I think Ekwonu is somebody they're going to like. Plays nasty, great run blocker, but I think has really unlocked the ability to stay latched on in pass protection. I think he's a guy you got to try out a tackle because I think the upside is there to do so, and that's got to bring this whole offensive line together. Got to be there for Zach Wilson in year 2. This is a good start getting Ekwonu at 4. The Giants. This is the best case scenario, is it not? You're getting Evan Neal or Cross, whoever you like. I think they go Evan Neal here. I think it makes the most sense. Just a guy who I get it, has played better ball at left tackle, but with Andrew Thomas there, you can slide him over the right. You got great bookend duo there on the offensive line. Neal has the athleticism, obviously elite size as well. Pass protection, he's done a lot better, has good footwork. He lunges a little bit at times, and you see him get over the front of his feet, and that's something to correct. But I do think the upside is there, and man, for Daniel Jones to now have Neal and Thomas on the bookends, that's awesome for the Giants. Panthers here at 6. I think we're going to stick with Kenny Pickett. It's so tough to read the Panthers. They could be in on Cross. They really could be in on Cross. However, I do think that the quarterback position is calling only because I think it will extend the window that Matt Rule has. We've seen Sam Darnold. It's not working. It could be Willis. There's been rumors surrounding Pickett. So we're going to stick with that for now. Pickett's been, this high floor guy. He can reach that Carr Cousins tier. I do think he builds some clean pockets at times. Don't know why he does that, but I think, confident, accurate player, does make some plays on the move and had that fifth-year jump for Pittsburgh. So Giants at 7. I do think this pick makes a lot of sense as well. It's not going to be Thibodeau either. We're going to go Jermaine Johnson for the Giants at 7. This guy is a 3-down stud. He's going to be excellent against the run, sets a physical edge, and will be able to get out there with the hot motor and athleticism to make plays, turn running backs back inside, but also is unlocking more as a pass rusher. Got that explosion to power. You've seen him use rip moves now. He can work back inside. Show what he needed to at the Senior Bowl to say, okay, we've got a guy who can unlock more as a pass rusher. He's already dominant as a run defender. Guy should go top 10. Put him in there. Giants get a great start with Neal and Johnson. Falcons at 8. I think this is where the slide ends. I do think it'll be interesting because I do think the Falcons are going to get a really, really good player at 8. I don't know who. Maybe it's Hamilton in the slide. Here it's Thibodeau in the slide. Again, Falcons, what is there to say? I mean, edge rushers have been awful. It's really been awful. They've tried to stopgap it with free agents. Just put that to bed right here. Get Thibodeau. Great bend. Obviously unlocking more as a pass rusher. He tries to run through guys with speed to power, but the motor's there, the flexibility. He can really mold into one of these great pass rushers in the league. I don't know if he's at the Bosa, Garrett level, but very, very good in a Brian Burns mold is perfectly fine in this draft at 8. So Seahawks at 9. This is the guy here. You traded Russell Wilson. Are you confident in Drew Lock? They've said they're confident in Drew Lock. Does that mean, hey, don't trade in front of us because we want this guy at 9? It's very possible. I think Malik Willis makes a ton of sense here. They want to run the ball in Seattle. Now you have a guy who, again, you don't have to let him cook in year 1. That's what's nice. You can hand the ball off, get him into some bootlegs, get him on the move as a runner as well to help in this offense while he has that howitzer arm. He's a tough runner. Just work on the post-snap processing with him. And it's a tough eval for Willis because we think it's post-snap processing. It just could be the lack of trust in offensive line and receivers to separate, and he has to buy time and make plays on his own. That's certainly possible. Malik Willis, though, get him to Seattle, and we'll build stuff around him going forward. Jets at 10. I'm kind of surprised because I think the corner talk has kind of died down. It started out hot, and then some of the corners played well in their room this past season. So, Eccles, Hall, and Carter, and you're like, okay, well, maybe they don't need corner. I still think Gardner's very much in play for them at 10. Again, this dude, you're going to hear it a million more times. You've already heard it a million times. Hasn't allowed a touchdown in his career. I think, again, when he's up in your face, the hip flexion is a little bit of a concern, but I do think he can run with people. He's got the length. He needs to refine a little bit as a tackler, but again, all the tools are there to be a shutdown guy on one side of the field. Jets need that on their defense. I think they'll like to have it. So Washington Commanders here at 11, they're kind of in an area where I feel like Stingley is somebody who's potentially not on their board. I think Garrett Wilson is. You've got Carson Wentz. The offensive line is actually solid. Even though you're going to lose, you've lost Sheriff. That's fine. Garrett Wilson, another guy who can create space for himself. His pace as a route runner is something that needs to be refined. But again, attacks blind spots, knows where to stem, understands how to create leverage for himself. Great in the air, get going, attacking, securing the football, and slippery after the catch. You can win in all 3 phases. You've got McLaurin there. Now you have Wilson as well. That's a great 1-2 punch. The Vikings, this feels like a trade back spot. I don't know what we're going to see here. We're going to default to Derek Stingley Jr. just because, again, the pedigree's there. He was just dominant at the catch point. He was dominant at figuring out when to turn. The instincts were good. Find the football, win at the moment of truth. The ball production was there. The instincts, he can turn and run with guys. There's just so much potential that we saw as a freshman. Just get back to that level, and you're going to get a great corner here. And the Vikings, they really need to solve this long term. They've tried and tried. They can't do it. Stingley's the first step in doing so. Texans at 13. This is nice for them. I think they've still talked about wanting to be, involved early in the draft in the offensive line. If you've heard John McClain talk about this, they seem to want to still put resources into this. I know we talk about Titus Howard potentially moving back to tackle. That's his best spot. Fine, don't care. Charles Cross is better. Maybe not the best run blocker. I think he's done good reaching for eye and kind of sealing off. He kind of turns around and turns his back to the defender to do so. But again, I think you can teach him to get after it more in the run game. Where he's going to succeed is in pass protection, good vision to find stunts. I do think the anchor and against quickness has bothered him a little bit, and it definitely did in the Ole Miss game. But I still think, again, he's a top 3 tackle in the class, and you get him at 13. You got to feel pretty good about that. Texans have addressed the trenches. That's a great start for a franchise now that's got a lot of picks. Baltimore Ravens, they're just the kind of team that, again, we'll just take the best player and make you look silly. Jordan Davis is great. I know they signed Michael Pierce back. That's fine. Jordan Davis is it, man. This guy is early down stud. He's got the athleticism to work sideline to sideline, pursue, motor's hot, all this, but he's going to take on 2 guys. You can get a guy out of the box if you want him to do so. This is a front that they stay involved in building up this front. In Baltimore, I think Jordan Davis is a great pick here at 14, and you know, DeCosta's just laughing that he got him at 14, I think. That's probably what you'll hear from Baltimore's camp. So, love that pick there for them. Eagles at 15. This is where you look at the styles at wide receiver and you say, okay, a Drake London can kind of make sense here. I know that Eagles fans don't like this because they're like, oh, back to another guy who, you know, just wins at the catch point. He's at the Pac-12. It's got to be another J-Jaw. I understand. I do think, though, his vision, understanding of leverage, understanding of where space is going to be, I do think all of that comes into playing the receiver position, and Drake London's good at that. He wins at the catch point. Yes, I get it that that's not like a fun thing to talk about. But I will say, can win against press, can work against contact to create for himself early in his stem. Quick slant, he can win that against press man. That's doable for him. And then after the catch, stud. So you have London now as your kind of X type. You have Devonta Smith as your move, flanker Z, and you've got Quez Watkins. That's good for Jalen Hurts. The offensive line's in place. Get another weapon in there. Andrew Booth is up next for the Eagles. I do think they'll maneuver around, and we'll maybe go through a trades mock at some point here before the draft, but we're going to stick with all these picks. Andrew Booth, what's there to say? Ball skills are phenomenal. Eyes are good. Transitions are good. Don't know why he's being overlooked right now in a lot of mock drafts. I think he's supremely talented. Great tackler. Will come up in the run game and hit you. Just does everything really well. Plug him and play him right now opposite Slay and prosper. Chargers at 17. I like Jameson Williams. I really do. I think when you look at Mike Williams, yeah, he can win down the field, but he's a catch point guy. He can win short as well. You have Keenan Allen, who can just flip in the slot now for the rest of his time there as a route running separator type, chain mover, and now you've got the big play weapon who can run underneath balls that Herbert's flying 60 yards downfield. Separation quickness is good. He can alter and decelerate, accelerate with ease to run these kind of stop and go moves. And again, once the ball's in his hands, it's a track meet. He's the final leg in the 4x1. And that's just that. That's that. So love that for the Chargers there at 17. I know tackle makes sense, but you know, New Orleans will take that tackle need right off the board here. Trevor Penning. New Orleans needs left tackle help. They brought back Winston. This makes sense. He's a mauler. Gives a little bit of ground up and pass protection, though. That's something you got to kind of watch with a guy like Penning. But again, the demeanor's there, and I think he can come in and really reinvigorate this offensive line. That's got a lot of talent, but just needs somebody to set the tone a little bit, and I think Trevor Penning does that for you. Eagles at 19. Let's get a little wild. We're getting wild again. Safety's coming off the board. Lewis Cine. Eagles need safety help. Lewis Cine does it all. I think his play recognition's good. He can fly down the alleyway and tackle. He can hang out in deeper areas of the field, too high, single high. Like, Cine does it all. And then the athletic testing just boosted the stock to the point where Jim Nagy was saying that, you know, he's the best safety in the draft. That's a little hyperbole, obviously, with Hamilton, but Cine is very, very good. And with the Eagles, you have 3 picks. Why not throw in at the safety position before that run kind of starts early in round 2, and you miss out on a guy you like? Steelers at 20 was tough to figure out because like Linderbaum's on the board, but they might still commit. They've got Cole and Green still there. We're going to go corner for them. Kaiir Elam. Big, tall, long guy who can be that number one corner for you. And I think, the play's up and down a little bit, but at his best, he used locking top guys like Jameson Williams down the SEC because he can really squeeze you to the sideline. The transitions are good for a guy his size, and he plays the ball well in the air. I think he does a lot well. And the Steelers, you're in an AFC where you got to be good on defense. They've always had a good defense. Kaiir Elam gives you a big boost in that secondary. Yeah, so Patriots. Corner, I don't know if they like the options. Receiver, I'm not sure they love the options either, unless they really think Pickens is the guy. Let's get a little off book here with this one. Zion Johnson. Obviously just traded Shaq Mason away to the Buccaneers. Still have Michael Onwenu, but like Zion Johnson comes in, plugs in, feels the need right away for this offensive line. Got to protect Mac Jones. Got to be able to, this offense can use some longer developing plays in it. They do a lot of Erhard Perkins, obviously, with multiple personnel, same reads, make them quick decisions. But you got to be good in pass protection. Zion Johnson is so talented as a guard. He's just a guy who's not going to give up a lot of ground. Anchor and grip strength are really, really good. Packers at 22, here's your receiver. It's Chris Olave, and this is the type of technician, understands where he needs to be, understands, I'm going to build trust and timing with my quarterback. He's going to do that. A great route runner, good hip sync, creates space for himself, kind of an always open type, tracks the ball really well. And, I think, and obviously is that deep threat a little bit as well down the field where he's got that easy speed where you're like, wow, he's not even running that fast. So Olave, maybe not a number one, but a darn good number two. Maybe perhaps even an elite number two. And in a year at receiver where that's kind of going to be the theme, I really believe that's fine. You have 2 first rounders, get a talented player in the building. Arizona at 23, I think this is George Karlaftis. Obviously you lose Chandler Jones, still have JJ Watt. Get a young Watt looking type in Karlaftis who's big, strong, affects all 3 downs, good run defender. Better flexibility than advertised, I think, and he's a strong player with a good set of rush moves. Strong technician, all 3 downs, beef up that defense, get after quarterbacks in your division. So Cowboys here at 24. This is where the Linderbaum slide ends, and so Dallas now. Yeah, I know they have Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin. This is an immediate upgrade for you. On the interior, the offensive line's still good, but I think there's some holes obviously on the interior that you need to fill. Now Lyle Collins is gone. I like Linderbaum here just as a plug him and play him at center. I know 293-pound centers aren't the rage necessarily for Dallas, but he's just phenomenal. Wrestling background, plays tough, plays strong, doesn't give up a lot of ground for somebody who's 293 and was doing it in the Big Ten. So how do you not like that and go for the upgrade here with Linderbaum sliding? So we got the Bills on the clock at 25. I like this pick a lot. I like Devonte Wyatt. They're just a unit that really they love to push and acquire talent on the defensive line. Yes, they have Ed Oliver. Yeah, they signed Tim Settle. I still think Ed Oliver's that really, really good run defending type now, and that's just kind of what he is, and that's fine. Get your slasher, attack some gaps on the interior, and Devonte Wyatt, who's wicked quick, wicked explosive, powerful player. Like I said, get him to one gap and slant and attack, and you're going to really put pressure on quarterbacks throughout the AFC. And that's something that the Bills need to do. They obviously got Von Miller. Upgrade the pass rush on the interior. Titans, let's get wild. Treylon Burks still on the board. Gotta love this. A.J. Brown, Treylon Burks, Robert Woods. Okay. Burks kind of in that mold of an A.J. Brown of sorts. I think A.J. Brown's better at, leverage and separation and finding space. But like Burks is a guy, get the ball in his hands and let him work. Let him win at the catch point with his size and the high pointing ability. Let him use his speed post catch. He's going to get gadget touches like Robert Woods has done in offenses before. and you let him develop into a guy who can understand and stem and work to move defenders out of spots so he can create space for himself. That's going to come along with time. You just have to invest in that time. Right now, he's a number 3 in your offense. That's perfectly fine. You have to keep up with all these crazy offenses in the AFC. This is a great way to do it. Select Treylon Burks. Bucks here at 27. They just don't have needs. Like, what with Brady back, and they traded for Shaq Mason. Like, where do you go? Is it a little early for some of these guys on the D-line? I think so. So I'm going to go Kyler Gordon. Why not? I mean, add more to the secondary. That's kind of had some problems. Obviously, they had injury issues more than anything last year, but Kyler Gordon's a really sticky player in man coverage. You know Bowles is going to blitz a lot. Have a guy who can trust out there in an island. Kyler Gordon's a really good player. I know the athletic testing wasn't where many expected it to be. I'm not too concerned about it. I think he's a great player in man coverage. Get him there in Tampa Bay. Green Bay's back up, Packers fans, and we're going to go edge. There's a lot of talented players. We're going to go Arnold Ebiketie here, and this may be shocking. Obviously, Ojabo's still on the board. Don't know how much the Packers are going to be thrilled with taking a guy off an Achilles injury, but Ebiketie is somebody who has really looked twitchy and explosive at Penn State. Transferred over from Temple. I think a guy who's got an array of moves. You can win inside, win around the edge, and you really work to make this guy your number 3 now in Green Bay for a short time and eventually get him into a starting role. This is a premium position. This is what the Packers like to do. They've got their third guy. They did it with Gary when they had both Smiths. Now you got Ebiketie, a player who I think is really going to be in that top 40 range. So great pick here for the Packers. Chiefs, why not? Swing, David Ojabo. I think obviously the Achilles injury, and you have to worry about that. Still, I do think the pass rush profile and what he's done, ghost move, dip and rip, like all these moves that he has put together, still not a good run defender by any stretch, but a darn good pass rusher you can throw out there when he gets healthy again. Man, you're going to love what the defensive line can produce. If Ojabo can get back to being healthy, you see him running again and all that, I think that's worth a swing when you got 2 firsts here in Kansas City. The upside is too tremendous for him. So we've talked about, they've got to try and replicate Tyreek Hill, and that they've got Mecole Hardman, and they've got now Marquez Valdes-Scantling. This is a explosive player who's also a QB's best friend, John Dotson, who bigger catch radius than his size would indicate, reliable hands, explosive double move guy. Just can move him all over the place, and you've got a ton of weapons in there already. I still like the idea of adding a guy like Dotson here, who, like I said, is just a reliable but explosive playmaker. Bengals, I think they've done a lot on the offensive line. I know Kenyon Green's still available, and I'll get into that. But I think, why not Trent McDuffie? He's a really, really good player. You need number 1, 2, 3 corners here. If you think he's a slot player, fine. I think he's just a darn good player overall. Good tackler, good in man and zone coverage. I just this all-around smart and talented player who really shouldn't be on the board this late, but I get why, because of size and length concerns. Bengals will take that. They'll take the value here, McDuffie. So finishing out the first round, we haven't had a linebacker go, and I think it's tough because I don't see a Parsons or a JOK or a Roquan Smith in this unit here, or this draft class, I should say. But Devin Lloyd, I think, fits a lot of what Detroit wants to do, just because I think he's a kind of jack of all trades, coverage, blitz, rush off the edge a little bit for fun. Like you can move him around, but I still think he's got all the tools to be a Will or Mike linebacker in terms of just, again, the processing is good. He just makes plays, whether it be deflecting passes, getting after the quarterback, blitzing, working in space and coverage, making picks, just impacting the game in every way possible. I think that's what the Lions want to do here at linebacker, and Devin Lloyd's a good way to do it. So now, on to the second round here, and we're going to keep flying through these picks a little bit quicker. George Pickens is going to start things off in the second round. I do think the Jaguars, yes, they threw a lot of picks at Kirk. No idea what they're going to do with Shenault. I think they brought Treadwell back, if I'm correct. I'm fairly certain they did that. Don't care. Get a guy with X potential, wins down the field, good hands, big catch radius. We'll see. I don't know what to think of Pickens. Didn't really come back, much from injury, but a guy who Again, as a vertical winner, you got a guy in Lawrence who can get him the ball down the field, let him use the catch radius if the ball's underthrown or a little bit out of position, and just have that guy to win down the field. George Pickens, there you go. Lions, they didn't get edge help. Now, they've done Hamilton and Lloyd. Boye Mafe, really unlocking the pass rush toolbox. He's unlocked the toolbox. He's now in there getting stuff done. And that's really what we saw over the second half of the season for him at Minnesota, who just, again, an athletic player who plays good pursuit angles and from backside or working, back down the field. Just a guy who can be a pass rusher as well, make an impact there. So you add to that pass rush cover that you really don't feel like is completely full at the moment. I think Mafe is a great pick early in the second round. Jets now at 35. This is your safety, Daxton Hill. Move him all over the place. Can play up high, affect the catch point, play in the slot. He's the athleticism, the twitch is there in man coverage, but again, has the range and football IQ to kind of be everywhere on your defense. You got Sauce. Now you have Daxton Hill. I love what the Jets are doing through 3 picks here. Giants. I mean, this is where the slide stops, right? Kenyon Green. Positional value might drive this down. And like we said, in this simulation, the Bills didn't really go that direction in interior. Neither did the Cardinals. The Bucks already got a guy via trade. So it's just kind of like, okay, well, he kind of falls a little bit further than you think, and the Giants will sweep him up and play him at either guard spot. I think he's got enough versatility to do so. Evan Neal gets hurt in a pinch, or Andrew Thomas gets hurt in a pinch. Guess what? Neal goes over to left tackle. Kenyon Green can go to right tackle even if you want him to. That versatility is huge. Giants will take advantage of that, build that offensive lineup. Texans at 37. This is the fall of Nakobe Dean. They're going to be talented players in the 30s that go in the 30s. That's just how it goes. That's going to be how it goes in this draft. That's where really the meat and potatoes of value and talent is in this draft class. Lovie Smith's going to want his guy at linebacker. Kobe Dean, maybe a little undersized, don't care. Football IQ, coverage chops, just he knows where to be. Good blitzer, can drop the shoulder and get around offensive linemen when he does so. Just all-around player at the position. This is great value for the Texans here. They've got now Walker, Cross, and Dean. Phenomenal start. Jets at 38. We flirted with the idea of receiver earlier. Now we're going to actually get one in Christian Watson, who, man, has he had a pre-draft process, huh? I mean, just phenomenal. Showed off some lower body flexibility and route running chops at the Senior Bowl, then goes out and throws out one of the best combines we've seen at receiver. So 6'4", 211. I think he just needs to play bigger. And that's, play to that frame, play to that size, win more at the catch point, and you've unlocked it more. But what's nice is you have your kind of route running X type in Corey Davis. Now you've got a Z in Watson who can be a field stretcher, and you've got Moore who can also be a field stretcher but work underneath as well as a gadget type. So again, O-line, you built the secondary. Now you add to the wide receiver cover for Zach Wilson. And I think the Jets got to feel good about what you've done with 4 picks. Bears at 39, they'll take this all day. Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan, a guy who plays tough. I don't love the prospect, but I know the NFL, I think, will. And, when you're athletic enough and the traits are there, he's a little bit older. But again, tackles, they don't grow on trees, and you got to find a way to protect Justin Fields. That has to be the operation. You got to protect him. Now you can move Jenkins over back to the natural right tackle slot, and you're golden there for the Bears. Offensive line still needs work, but they've got more picks for that. They have one more. We'll get to it. Seattle Seahawks now at 40. Tyler Smith, obviously Dwayne Brown hasn't signed anywhere. Could come back. We'll see. Tyler Smith offers upside, definitely, with athleticism, the power, the tenacity he plays with. Obviously, there's refinement needed in terms of pass protection, but, you got to work those kinks out and develop him because the upside's there. And I think Seattle, they need O-line help. You got a young QB. Protect him. They're also going to stop the DeMarvin Leal slide, who I think just doesn't play with a lot of twitch and explosiveness. I know he moves pretty well for his size, but where's he going to play? 5-tech, 3-tech? Move him along the line in Seattle and see where he can make the best impact for you. Colts at 42. This may be a little early for some, and I get why that it may be, but Alec Pierce is a Chris Ballard player. Senior Bowl, captain, deep threat athletic player who now you've got Pittman as your kind of X of sorts, but he wins underneath. He can win vertically, but he's an underneath, short intermediate guy. Now you've got your guy who I think great release package, but he's got the speed, build up speed, and he can also win at the catch point. Kind of a discounted, maybe more explosive Drake London of sorts in this draft class. So I think the Colts, you got to add to it for Matt Ryan. Alec Pierce is a good start for you. Atlanta Falcons, I'm sure they're not going to like these picks. So, if you're a Falcons fan and you want to stop watching after the first pick because you love Thibodeau, perfect. We're going quarterback here. Didn't take Malik Willis. I think they're going to be on the radar for one. If the value presents itself, Desmond Ridder, who I think does a good job processing post-snap. I really do think he's good at that. He misses a lot of bunnies. I understand that. Their accuracy in the short area sometimes is really inconsistent. Athletic player with a good arm. See what happens. Develop him. Let Marcus Mariota play for a year and see where you're at in 2023. The Browns. This is tough. You got to maintain the age guardrails. Perion Winfrey is 21 at the time of the draft. So in play for sure for the Browns at 44. You get a guy, again, who was a good pass rusher. Didn't really play in his ideal situation or alignment at Oklahoma. Let him attack gaps. Let him be a pass rushing type with the athleticism and upside he has. Lower that pad level a bit, and you're cooking. You're cooking for sure on the Cleveland defense. Baltimore loves to stop slides of good players. We've talked about this already. Roger McCreary. I think the corner room's pretty good. I do. I do think it's good. Peters, Humphrey. If McCreary is your slot, and I know that the room's pretty full, I understand. But you've got Morgan Moses. Where are you going to go here? You're going to add another playmaker? You're going to get a linebacker, I guess, makes sense potentially, but Bobby Wagner may sign. So again, McCreary's talented and press man. If you're going to be in a lot of cover 1, cover 0 sometimes, McCreary's a great slot player, good and press man, a smart player who's I think transitions well, can attack back to the football. So just a really, really good player who I get is another victim of the short arm thing. So like McDuffie is, don't care if you're Baltimore, get a talented player in your building. So the Vikings, Logan Hall is going to be the selection here for the Vikings. So you've got Zadarius Smith, right? And you have Danielle Hunter if he stays. Logan Hall's a kind of a guy you can move into 3 tech, get him out to 5, kind of move him around the defensive line to create pressure and wreak havoc. You're going to need to do so. Green Bay and Detroit have pretty solid offensive lines. If you're going to take advantage of the Bears, it's on the interior, and Logan Hall can do that. Again, a multiple, versatile type player who can make an impact in year 1. Washington Commanders. We're going to go linebacker here. This is kind of an odd selection. I think safety's potentially on the board here. If you're Washington, maybe corner is, but they've put a lot of resources in, so maybe not. I'm going to go Muma here just because you can get Davis now freed up to work in spaces of will, and you've got your downhill block deconstructing, good vision against the run type in Chad Muma, who's just an overall really, really good player at linebacker. And there you go. Your defense looks pretty full again. And you can really do and put Jamin Davis in the role he needs to be in. Bears at 48. I know he's coming off injury, but John Mechie's good, folks. Not quite at the level of Chris Olave, but darn close. Just because, again, what he does is a technician, understanding, okay, I'm going to stem inside, lean, dip, to kind of get the receiver moving and snap routes off. Good hip sync, good separators, Z-slot type who you can get the ball to in a variety of ways, and a reliable guy. Doesn't really attack at the catch point very well, but he's a reliable guy, can stack also vertically, win vertically a little bit. He's got juice, he's got short area bursts. So, again, we'll see when he comes back, but that's a weapon for Justin Fields when you need one. So, I don't know if they are going to go in any other direction here. I feel like Sky Moore kind of mirrors Darnell Mooney a little bit too much, so you get your technician at Mechie. Saints. I think we're going to go quarterback here. If they're not sold on Winston, Corral's a player who's got a good arm, good accuracy to all levels, and is mobile and poised through the chaos. So stock's dropping a little bit because for him it's like, okay, he played more reckless in more a widened concept format in 2020, but was a little wild with the ball. Bad decision making. Played it safe in 2021, but it was so many RPOs and quick post snap going here or here. So what is he really? Well, we don't know, but I think the arm talent and the accuracy shows up for a second round pick. No problem there for New Orleans. Chiefs at 50. Got to be able to defend the pass. Tariq Woolen's got a ton of upside, size, speed, physicality. I mean, what else do you need to say about that selection? I think it makes sense for the Chiefs. I know they don't go corner early, but you got 4 picks. Like, in the first 2 rounds, spend one on it. Eagles at 51. It's possible that they're done at linebacker. They did have a recent signing there, but I'm going to give them Quay Walker, who's got a lot of athleticism to work in space, and apparently he's going higher than we believe. So this might even be too low for him, but Eagles get a player who can work in space and dip under blocks. He's not going to really take on blocks, but again, a guy who can be a run and chase type for you. Pittsburgh Steelers at 52. The receiver run continues. It's Sky Moore, just because you look at what they have in the building, and you lose Juju Smith-Schuster, right? You have Claypool, who's a little inconsistent. You have Deontay Johnson you're going to have to pay. Are you going to pay him? Well, probably. But, are you sold on Claypool? Sky Moore, 5'10", 195, great route runner, good release package, tough and strong at the catch point, good vision after the catch, well-rounded player in the Christian Kirk, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb vibes from him. I think he's a great number 3. Very, very good number 3. May even be their number 2 by season end if Claypool doesn't take that next step. So now Green Bay Packers at 53, they're back up. I know they just signed Jarran Reed. That's temporary. Travis Jones is a much longer-term investment here as a nose tackle 1 tech who I think has unlocked and showed you that he can be quick off the ball to rush the passer, strong pop in his hands, good bull rush, but also can be great defending the run, give you a defender back in the secondary in a Joe Barry defense that does that a lot. So Travis Jones, good pick there for the Packers. Patriots, I flirted with the idea of corner just because we've gone offensive line. I think Emerson and Bryant would both be in play, but with Brisker on the available, I don't think they hesitate here. A guy who can move all around, play a bunch of different roles in a Bill Belichick defense. With his athleticism and the toughness and the leadership he plays with, this is a slam dunk for New England at 54. Arizona, we're going to start the running back run. Kenneth Walker. I know they brought back James Conner, but that's a pass-catching, bruising type when now you have Walker, who's extremely elusive, has that burst in the open space, strong processor, but again, that elusiveness is huge. And he's still, we'll see what he has as a pass catcher. Wasn't really targeted a ton, but commanded the running back targets when he was a target in the passing game. So again, Kenneth Walker, it's all about the short area bursts and being elusive in space. And with the Cardinals who spread things out, it makes sense. Dallas, 56. Yeah, we're going to go edge. I know Parsons he drops down there. He's going to drop down to edge. He's just going to do it. That's fine. That's fine. He's going to play all over the place. Drake Jackson gives you another guy who can rush the passer. You lost Randy Gregory. He's got speed. He's got athleticism. Work on adding weight to the frame to be a 3-down defender, but now you've got a rotational guy from day one who's got that athleticism, bend, dip, can win around the arc. Bills didn't go interior offensive line. That's what we're doing here. Jamari Sawyer played left tackle at Georgia. That's great. I think he could potentially play left tackle in the league, but he's played both guard spots, done so in the Senior Bowl. I thought he did very, very well there. So a guy who can be, you can be flexible with on your offensive line that needs a little bit of work to protect Josh Allen, who's, making a ton of money and really the reason that you're in contention in the AFC. That's getting tougher and tougher by the day. So Jamari Sawyer, just a strong pick there. They've gone Georgia with their 2 picks. I think they'd take it, though. Atlanta Falcons, like I said, maybe look away, but it's going to be a running back here. It's going to be Breece Hall. Again, Cordell Patterson, maybe he's coming back. We'll see. I know they need receiver. I get it. I just didn't love the value here. If you guys like the value of Bell, Wan'Dale Robinson, maybe Jalen Tolbert's your cup of tea, or Khalil Shakir is, or Romeo Doubs is, that's fine. I just didn't love the value here. So I went running back. You get a top flight guy in Breece Hall who's got good vision, and I think will mesh really well with Marcus Mariota and that offense where, you don't have a lot of weapons of passing game. Get stronger running the football. Breece Hall is good at that. Short area burst, good vision, contact balance, elusive. Packers at 59, we've got Jalen Pitre. So again, I think with the Packers, you see Amos and Savage, good players. Amos hasn't been extended, so who knows how long he's going to be here. But right now, you lost Chandon Sullivan. Now, Jair can play as some slot, but Pitre can as well, and he is just a darn good player near the line of scrimmage in the box. So, I mean, I think the value is too good to pass up here for the Packers. Buccaneers at 60. I just didn't know what to do because Robert Hainsey is there, right? They went Kyler Gordon. We're going to give him Sean Rhyan because he's a good player. And if the NFL views him at guard, he's going to be a really, really good guard. Why not? You know, add to that room just in case injuries strike again in Tampa Bay. You have a guy in Sean Rhyan now or Hainsey, whoever you want to play that fifth spot and the other be the sixth, and you feel pretty comfortable with that on the interior. 49ers at 61. I really do like Kobe Bryant here for them. Kind of been overlooked. That's okay. Was the Thorpe Award winner. I think he's a really talented player in press. I think he's smart, good football IQ, understands and really can read receivers very, very well. This is a division where, again, Metcalf and Lockett are still there. Now you have Allen Robinson in it and DeAndre Hopkins. You have to get better at this position if you're San Francisco. Kobe Bryant gives you the option. I think Martin Emerson is in play as well because I like what he does as well. So I think either one of those options, you're in good shape. So this might be weird to see the Chiefs going 2 edge rushers in a row with Ojabo and Nick Bonito now. But again, Ojabo's probably not playing this year, right? So now you're in a position where you still need an impact edge because, again, Melvin Ingram's still out there. So Nick Bonito's a really good rotational edge rusher who plays with, again, good twitch, good explosiveness, gives you another guy out there on the edge to rush the passer. Once again, it sounds like broken record, but a talented AFC. So Bengals here at 63, why not? You know, they added a Hayden Hurst, probably to be a blocker. That's fine. Let's travel down the board just a little bit, get Greg Dulcich in the passing game. I think they've done a lot with offensive line. Not saying they're done, but I don't know if they'll, feel the need to address it and reach early. So we're going to go Greg Dulcich, who works up the seam, works after the catch, a long strider, and has got that good straight line speed and a reliable pair of hands. Why not add to an already dynamic passing game? Get another guy there for this reload to get back to a Super Bowl. Okay, so Broncos here at 64 to finish this thing out. Linebacker, I think, is on the table. Obviously, bringing Billy Turner now to a 1-year deal to play right tackle for you. Got to feel pretty good about that. Obviously, there are options at right tackle long-term. Falale, Kennard, Lucas, all available there. So now, but I think it shifts over to linebacker or edge here for the Denver Broncos. I think you want to finish up strong here. We're gonna go Troy Anderson, who I think did really well in the pre-draft process, athleticism-wise, Senior Bowl-wise, to now fit in a room with, Baron Browning, who's an athletic guy, who's good in zone, picking up crosses, but it can move around a lot. But you now get Troy Anderson, who's really more of a middle linebacker type and, hard-nosed type player, kind of a discounted Chad Muma. So I think the Broncos like what they get there. And that really finishes up our 2-round 2022 mock draft, really 2.0 version, post free agency. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like down there if you can, help me out, support the channel, and subscribe if you're new. Plenty of 2022 NFL draft stuff coming soon in terms of prospects, mocks, and what have you. Live shows, of course, as well leading up to the draft. And if you have a suggestion for a video you'd like to see, drop in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next video. Farewell.